Hey guys, I'm Savina and welcome back to the Witching Hour. So it's been about 2 weeks since I filmed a video for you guys, and I figured what better way to get back into things than kind of talk about clearing out negative energy, keeping your peace, keeping things positive, your energy, your space positive, and with everything that's been going on in the world, I feel like it's a great way to start. So before getting into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, and if you do, thank you. If you've been here more than once, you watch more than one of my videos, subscribe. Let me know what you like. Comment down below. I would love to hear from you. If you didn't know, I am very big on energies, all kinds of energies. It kind of ties hand in hand into my supernatural, paranormal thing, if you will. But I think it applies to everybody in everyday life. And I think energy is so powerful and it can make such a big difference. So let me explain. Energy as in the sense of what you give off. So when you are in a good mood, and that's when say your energy is high, you have good energy, positive energy, things feel great. You know, have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you're on cloud nine and everything is going right and it just keeps rolling, it keeps rolling? On the other end, you could have the total opposite. So you miss your alarm clock, you hit your toe when you wake up, you run out of coffee, and these small little things start snowballing, and then you have one of the days where it feels like everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Your energy is low, you have negative energy. It's all relative to me. I really focus on trying to, I call it flipping my switch, okay? We're all human, things happen, and sometimes it's really hard to stay on that positive high energy. Now, before going into more details of that, I'm just going to give you little things that I do to keep my space or myself calm and my energy up. And maybe you guys have heard of these things, maybe put into practice. If you have any questions about anything I talk about, because I'm just gonna briefly talk about what I do, I'm not gonna go into detail, please comment down below or message me on Instagram, it's in my description. I always respond. So one of the first things I do that really helps calm me down or keep my space at ease, if you will, is I am a really big fan of saging or smudging out a space. So whether you live alone or not, it's not something you have to do often, but it's something I like to do at least a couple times a month. So what it really is, and sage is just supposed to be something that helps purify space. Just again, it's cleansing out that any kind of dark energy, negative energy, and I guess what I focus everything on, some people might be like, oh, like how is that supposed to work? I do believe sage itself has this special property to it, but I also believe the intent you have when you're smudging out a space is what makes all the difference, because anybody could just light a stick of sage and walk around and be like, okay, but you're supposed to do everything you do with purpose, okay? So I recently just did this in my own space. Like I said, I've had a couple of crazy weeks and just the energy has felt very heavy and there's been a lot going on, a lot of emotions, especially when there's a lot of negative emotions. It's just that idea of, again, kind of clarifying or cleansing out your space and just letting back that good energy in. And there's just something so uplifting, especially when you know why you're doing it. Okay, you know what you want out of it. You walk around and you cleanse your area. It just feels like you could breathe again because you're putting that purpose out there. You're putting what you want out there, and it's almost in a sense the sage is doing its part, but you are too, like mind over matter, uh, of filling back that space with just good energy despite everything that's been happening, maybe. So saging is like one of my number one things. Two, which I really got into very recently, is actually aromatherapy. And if you have never done aromatherapy, if you don't have a diffuser or into oils, I highly recommend it. I just bought a diffuser and I use it often. Now, like some of my favorite kind of scents that mellows me out are things that have lavender and eucalyptus and uh, lemons or limes. Like there's just certain smells, and it gets fun. Trust me, you could experiment with different blends. There's just certain smells and certain things that just for real mellow you out, just calm you down, and every time again when you diffuse or use aromatherapy, it's giving yourself that space, that quiet time, and that intent. And then you start associating those smells with what you want to accomplish. So when I'm feeling frazzled and I need a minute, I throw in a couple of drops of some of my favorite stuff and I just breathe deep. And I try not to think about anything else. And again, it kind of flips my switch and brings me back down. It also just fills the room, which is really helpful too. Even for anybody else who's around when I diffuse, when they smell it, they're like, oh, like, there's something's really relaxing about this. And I 100% believe it. Besides diffusing and aromatherapy, I mentioned it before, oils. So essential oils, obviously you could use it in a diffuser, but I'm also a fan of like putting it on little spots on myself or just smelling oils or having it on you. Again, it's almost like a reminder to yourself to be kind to yourself or stop for a minute when you just get that smell, and it helps kind of calm you back down. Lastly, another thing that I do are my crystals. I am a big believer, like I said, in energies, crystals, chakras. I believe in these things. And it's so funny, like sometimes when I talk to people about it, they're like, oh, you believe a bunch of crystals and rocks have these like powers. Yes and no. And if you haven't gotten into it before, I again recommend you to check it out. It really helps. I believe certain stones or minerals or properties have certain properties, yes. But I'm going to shift you back on the intent of everything. So I have a set of crystals that I have with me at all times. At all times. And they each represent different things, or supposed to represent different things. Now, the way I use my crystals, I've memorized what they mean or what they're supposed to mean. And again, if I'm out somewhere and obviously I don't have oils or my diffuser or sage, I have these crystals that kind of serve as like a trigger object for me, or something that helps me flip my switch in a good way. Okay, so when I need to stop and breathe for a minute, or when I'm feeling down and I have these crystals, there's just something about it when you hold on to it and you know what they represent, and you just stop and you really think for a second. You don't think about anything else going on. What has you frazzled? You think about those stones, those crystals, and you just, again, breathe deep. It does something, you just really start focusing on calming, healing, spirituality, success, and it brings you back down enough that you could really put things into perspective. And I have them everywhere. I keep them with me at all times. Some people think it's crazy, but I don't care. It helps. It works for me. I do believe certain kind of properties, like I said, minerals do have certain kind of properties. But again, when you mix that with your intent and what you want out of it, it becomes like this insane combination that really the smallest thing could just help you flip your switch in the best way. My crystals, these are some of my favorite. There's 6 of them here. I keep them in this little pouch. And these are the ones I have on me at all times. And these certain stones and crystals too, some of them are really connected to certain chakras. And if that's something you're into as well, I highly recommend you looking into it. Again, it's a lot of information, so for me to kind of go through everything would be very difficult in one video. So these are all things I practice regularly. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything you could take away from this, is you have more power than you realize when it comes to your day. It's so funny, today's the 29th, it is Friday. I was supposed to film this video yesterday, and I just didn't have it in me. I was just not ready, wasn't up to filming. And even today, it's so funny, I was having one of those days. I can't even lie. Like, I was agitated, I was upset, I needed to bring myself back down. So before jumping in front of the camera, I put my diffuser on, I took a couple deep breaths and just mellowed out for a second. And then I was able to flip my switch and come back in front of you guys. And that's what it's all about. As far as bringing your space or bringing yourself up, just that's the best way I could describe it to you. Flip your switch. And I say that because your switch could be flipped in any direction, okay, up or down. And you have that control. We're human. You're gonna get upset, you're gonna get angry. There's no stopping that, but what you can control is how long you stay down. And I am saying this from a lot of experience and a lot of failed attempts. This is coming from somebody, and this is on a more personal note. I am somebody who's always had really bad self-esteem issues, confidence, I have a period of my life was pretty dark. And obviously I don't consider myself to be old, but in my short span so far, I feel like I've experienced a lot. And I always say, like, everybody has a story, I know, so I don't know what you've been through or what you're going through, but all it takes is starting. You start by starting. And once you do start, you're gonna have off days or whatever the case may be. This is just in general, not even my tips, but when it comes to working on yourself, because all of this aligns with self-improvement as well. So if you're having a bad day, if you're not into, like, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna go into aromatherapy or crystals or whatever, and right now none of that sounds appealing to you, then I challenge you to just start by flipping your switch as quickly as possible. And you could do that any way that works for you. And that's how I started, okay? For me, it was self-improvement and reading. I was at a point where I was reading every day. I haven't done that in a while, and I want to get back into it. That's my point. There's going to be times where you're doing different things and you realize what you need, okay? And I realized when I started self-improving and reading, I had more better days than I did low days, and that's what really made me want to further things out. And then it got to the point where I realized, okay, when I'm feeling down, when all of this is happening, the only person affected is you, myself. Nobody else around me is feeling what I'm feeling, so I'm only hurting myself. So how do I get out of this state of mind as quickly as possible? How do I flip my switch? Sometimes all it takes is listening to one of my favorite songs. You know, we all have those songs or things we associate happy memories with, or something that just makes you feel good. A song. So then automatically I'm already kind of in a better place. But then you got to keep it going. So if you are home and you know you don't have a busy day or a lot to do, but again you're feeling this way, a song, maybe watch something funny, funny movie, put on some really loud music and just start dancing. It sounds crazy, but it works. Have a piece of chocolate if that makes you happy. Make something if that makes you happy. Sometimes it's as simple as enjoying a hot cup of tea or coffee in silence without thinking about everything you have to do. Give yourself that time, and that helps you flip your switch. It always will. And it takes a lot of work, it does. But like I said, with everything going on, you owe it to yourself to bring that positivity around you. And it all works in turn, again, with energies. When you feel good, you do good. And the more you keep doing of that, the more that keeps happening where you keep feeling. Somebody asked me, like, it's a really good question, and it really stood out to me. Somebody said, well, how do you keep a place positive? How do you keep that energy, like after saging or smudging out a house? And exactly what I just talked about. I mean, maybe it's not the answer you were looking for, but after smudging out a space, the only way to keep it in that level of that high positivity is to keep practicing what I'm telling you. Flipping your switch, doing things that make you feel better, trying to stay down for the least amount of time possible. And if you do have down days or whatever the case may be, again, you do whatever it takes to pick yourself up again. Whether it's music, food, creating, journaling, writing, that's something I also do often. All of these small things, so your feelings add to your space. That's exactly how I view everything. That's how I view everything. Have you ever walked into a room and something's going on? When everybody says you could feel the tension in the room, you know, you could feel the anger. It's true. It's because your energy, whether good or bad, you feel it. And that's what I take it as, okay? So let's say, I don't know, you or your significant other just have like an argument and you just feel like this heaviness, this intensity. It's okay, what can I do? What can we do to flip the switch? Obviously an argument or something like that, you know, you work it out, you talk it out. But in general, for that space, okay, sometimes it feels like that energy is still kind of there. Again, you breathe, you deep breathe. You can sage as much as you want, honestly. If you wanted to sage every day because it made you feel good, you 100% can. Is it necessary? No. But if all else fails and you feel like, okay, I need to do something and here feels too dark, too negative, get you some sage or some essential oils, just level things off. And that's another thing. If you live in a space with multiple people, you can control your own energy, your own emotions, but you can't control everybody else. So obviously those emotions are going to build to a point. And that's where you just never forget to just clear the air. Another really good question I got was, somebody asked me, what do you do on days that you feel like you have no motivation to do anything? I've had a lot of those days. A lot. And again, it's flipping your switch. But in turn, every situation is different. So I tend to, and this is important too, when it comes to your energy, positive or negative, listen to what your body is saying. If you're burnt out and you need a break, if you could give yourself that break, even if it's something small, then that's what you need to do. There are days, like I've had days where like the night before, I'm like, okay, I have this to get done. Next, the morning hits and I just feel like somebody beat me up or like I got run over by a truck and I don't want to do anything. I just take a deep breath and I literally, on those days, I tackle it hour by hour is kind of what I tell myself. So I make myself get up and I'm like, okay, you'll feel better. I give myself that cup of tea or coffee peacefully without thinking about what I need to do next, what I want to do next, what I don't want to do. I give myself that peace and quiet and that little like win, that little bit of happiness to just get myself going. Then after the fact, you feel how you feel. Okay? If you still feel unmotivated to do something that you were supposed to tackle, you do what you need to do. But you always remember don't stay down too long. If you need to be down for a little bit, that's okay. It's how long you stay down is what's important. How long? So you feel unmotivated. Hey, whether it's taking a nap, watching a quick show, writing, reading. Again, you do something else to help flip your switch. Something that puts you in a positive energy. Even if it's nothing with what you're supposed to get done, I'm here to tell you whatever it is you're supposed to get done, you will get it done. So don't stress yourself out. You know you will get it done. But give yourself that. And you take it hour by hour, okay? These small little wins or these small little feel-good moments will help you get motivated again. And maybe for that day, you won't really get anything done that you need to. But the next day, after giving yourself what you need, you'll be ready. And if not, you just have to keep working towards it. There are times, obviously, if you have a job, if you have kids, there are some times where you have to do what you don't want to do, even if you feel like you have no energy. But if you manage to squeeze in these little things, that cup of coffee, without thinking about work, the kids, or anything else, a bath, at the end of the day, you watch what you want to watch, or you just go to sleep early, you relax, you just, anything that gives you that time to not think about all your worries in the world. That's what you do on your days where you just have no motivation. At least that's what I do. And I listen to myself. Like, if there's things I need to get done, but I have some time and, I'm just pushing myself to get it done ahead of time, I listen to myself and you know what? No. I haven't filmed in 2 weeks, and at first I was freaking out about it, but I was like, no, I need this. I'm a little burnt out. Emotionally, I felt like I had a lot going on. And I don't do things I don't necessarily have to do right now. If I know it's not going to produce anything good. So I don't film if I think I'm in a really bad mindset or place. Instead, I work on myself so I can make something good. I like to bake or be in the kitchen. I'm not in the kitchen, I'm not baking if I'm really in a negative headspace because what I make will not turn out well. And all of it's mindset, and it takes work. And you start by starting, like anything else. And there'll be days where you don't follow through all the way, but it doesn't mean all the things you've done before is just gone. You don't lose all progress by small losses. You just pick back up. You always just pick back up and keep going. And that is exactly what I had to do today, because like I said, I was having one of those days and I had to practice what I preach. And I was down for a bit, and you have to just flip your switch. And that's how you get rid of your negative energy. And I'm hoping it's only January. I can't believe this year's still speeding by, though. To keep the negative energy away, you gotta take care of yourself. And you really, really have to focus on your mindset because you have control over your emotions. And in turn, that's what projects in your space. And I hope this was helpful for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to see more videos like this or more tips and tricks or certain things when it comes to smudging or types of crystals, let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram. I will get back to you. With that being said, I hope you guys are staying well, doing well, and until next time.